Planning Board meeting of May 22nd, 2018. If we could please stand. Salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. First on the agenda tonight is, as we do after every election, is reorganization. So, I guess what do we usually start with? We usually start with the chair, vice chair, and then the recording secretary. And
Usually that you'll run the meeting in the first election, nominations for the chair, and then we go from there.
all right, I don't have to leave the room, do I?
Nope,
No, okay.
you can if you want.
I believe the chairman has to officially resign, is that true?
No, he just has to turn the meeting over to you.
Well,
It would just,
I clearly know what I'm doing right now.
yeah.
What'd you say, we can adjourn? Thanks.
I just skipped to the last agenda item here. I believe at this time we'll entertain motions for board officers, is that how we?
I'll make a nomination for Bruce Mackey as our chair again. I think he's done a great job, so that's an emotion.
I'll second as my first official second.
That a girl.
Sweet.
So it's a motion made and seconded.
Motion made, we have a second, any against? Hearing none, motion carried. Mr.
Excellent.
Chairman?
Aye.
Oh,
And,
apologies, we're taking a
Four.
vote now. Apologies, all four?
yeah,
Aye.
Okay.
All right,
All
Mr.
opposed?
Bruce, all you.
then,
You're not
all right,
opposed?
well, thank you.
Excellent. Well, welcome back, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. It was only for a couple of minutes. I was gone.
That's okay.
All right, so now, and I thank you for that, board. All right, so we'll go on to the vice chair.
Make a motion for Mr. Jim Hoffman as the vice chair. I think you've done a good job, if you want it.
I'll take it.
It's your last year, you can rock and roll. So that's my motion.
I'll second again.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? All right. So Jim, you're officially vice. Now,
Secretary.
so now we're looking for nomination for a secretary.
I'd like to make a motion for Miss Jen to be our secretary.
How detailed do the notes have to be?
We have a note taker, but if she's not here, then we'll do that. But in case Bruce isn't here or Mr. Hoffman, then you'd be the next in line to jump on board.
I accept that responsibility if you'll have me.
Yes.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and second. Those in favor?
Aye. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
We don't want to do chairman right away. We figured you'd
I didn't want to overstep my bounds.
I thought about it.
Hazing is legal in the planning board.
Well, it did happen to an elected elected officer once, and I think it was Taunton. His first meeting as on the board of selectmen, they made him chair.
Oh, God.
It's Mr. Pacheco's nephew.
Really?
That was first year. It was interesting. But he stepped right up.
Jump right into the fire.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have, second is we have an approval not required plan, which we're just receiving tonight.
That's correct, Mr.
It's
Chairman.
for Jamie Emerson, 57 Wenham Road, Assessors Map 110, Lot 17, and we're just in receipt of plans tonight. So we don't have that with us for discussion, but we will talk about it and have a copy of that for our next meeting.
And that will be, Mr. Chairman, June 5th is our next scheduled regular
All right.
meeting.
Okay. All right, next we have a sign permit for Cape Cod Pain Management.
Mr. Chair, if you'd be so kind, I'd like to abstain from this where I am a direct abutter.
Okay. And this is on 68 North Main Street. Is there anyone here? If you could please come up, just talking to the mic, give us your name, address, please.
Todd DeMule, 3 Burbank, Sandwich, Mass. with DeMule Designs.
So, what can you tell us about the sign?
There was an existing sign there years ago and basically put it back in the same spot. There's an electrical outlet there. That's going to be pressure treated post fastened to channel iron in concrete and then PVC wrapped with aluminum faces, flat lettered, double sided. It should be about 15, 16 square feet, I think it totals.
Because we have, and it's gonna, and this is a picture of what's gonna be out there, or?
Basically, lesser shrubs, whatever he wants to do as far as landscaping, that'll be up to him.
Okay.
It's not internally lit.
But you're gonna have, there will be lights on it, is there?
Whatever he decides to do, I'm gonna recommend like a solar light to it, maybe uplighting from the ground or something, but it's not gonna be internally lit at all.
Solar lights, I wonder how that goes. What does the bylaw say about that? I mean, we can have lighting on it, and usually we have, does it specify what type of lighting we're supposed to have?
No, sir. No, it doesn't actually. It's silent on the solar lighting, but there is some guidelines on the backlighting and the luminescence.
And there's gonna be 2 signs, or just one?
Yes, one just is a directory sign at the entrance to the parking lot, and that'll be single faced.
So is there a directory sign there already for the other businesses, or other
He owns,
businesses in that?
he owns the whole entire building, and
Uh-huh.
he just wants to direct them into that parking lot instead of passing by it after they get off of Main Street.
But is there a directory sign there already?
No.
For none of the businesses?
Nothing, no.
Okay. So, I know that you're busy over there looking at.
Apologies,
the
Mr. Chairman. I realize
Yeah,
you're
no,
waiting
no,
for me. My
no, that's all right.
apologies.
No,
Per the illumination standards at 3531, it is silent on the solar. However,
yeah,
it does
we
speak to
never
the
encountered that before, but, and that would point up to the sign if you did have a solar.
Well, the solar panels are about the size of the base of this microphone, and it would be on the side of the post.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whether he decides to uplight it from the ground or top light it.
Okay, usually we have some sort of top light.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall, and it doesn't really specify in the bylaw whether there would be top lit or,
It explicitly says that it shall not be an impediment to public health and safety, especially as traveling by. Flashing signs and things of that nature
okay.
are spoken about.
No, I guess that would be fine. I just have to ask Stephen, so do these signs meet the square footage requirements?
They do meet the size requirements for the
Okay.
the general business area.
All right, do you have anything to
Just some
say
general-
about this? I forgot to ask you at the beginning, I'm sorry.
That's all right, sir. I'm generally just curious where on site you'll be placing the sign.
All right,
That's clear for me.
if you're coming from this direction up towards his office, I'm sure you're familiar where his office is. Lillian Way is on your left, and it's probably gonna be 25, 30 yards past that entrance on the left where the old dentist office sign used to be, because there's an electrical outlet in the ground already wired to it. So I'm gonna facilitate it in that area.
And it'll be how far removed from the road?
Well, that's what I want to ask you. The grade kind of drops really drastic there, and I'm going to try and not impede the entrance or exit as best I can. But there's a drastic grade drop there, so I'm going to be halfway into the grade and halfway out.
I think as long as it's outside the road layout, As long as it's on private property, it can go.
What are
on
your,
private
what are your
property.
setbacks for that on Main Street? Like 10 feet? Because it's pretty close to the road, you know? There's not a lot of room before that grade dives in. There's trees and stuff there. I remember the old dentist sign was pretty close to the road where the electricity stands now.
Mr. Chairman? Forgive me, sir, is this remind me, this is a corner lot, right? It's 58, and then the corner is Lillian?
Well, Lillian, it's a corner lot, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, under 2350 site obstruction, 2351 explicitly states that at corners, no sign, except ones that we put up, apparently, public agencies, fence, wall, hedge, or other obstruction shall be allowed to block vision between 2.5 and 8 feet above the street grade within an area formed by the intersecting streets, and a straight line joining the points of said street lines 20 feet back from their point of intersection.
He will have no visibility from there at all. He'll be in his own parking lot, I think, at that point.
It seems here that on the application, you're suggesting a 6-foot setback?
That's what I'm roughly figuring there because of where the old existing sign was. You know what I mean? That's about where the electrical outlet wires are right now.
Mr. Chairman, staff's recommendation may be to have public safety take a look at this, given the setback requirement and given the size and scale of the sign. I want to make sure that if the board is being asked for a waiver, that it's done so with public health and safety.
I know there was maybe that would be good if you could go out and take a look at that and kind of spot it. I mean, I think the signs are fine, but yeah, we want to spot that off the road. And then, of course, you don't want it too close to the road too, because, you know, snow plow.
Well, you got plows and all that stuff. I've been doing these signs for 35 years. I try to, 6 feet is what I would call for my minimum to get to the road. I would try to put it further in as best I can, you know what I mean? And not impede what Lillian Way is. And the existing sign that was there before from the dentist, I grew up in this town, so I remember the dentist and it didn't impede it. You know, so the area I'm familiar with and where I want to put it, I don't feel it will impede it. And the size of the sign, I think he's actually under the square foot of what he's got for frontage and stuff. I tried to minimize the sign for him.
All right, any other questions or concerns by any of the board members? Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions, John?
No, you answered them, or you asked them.
Okay, I guess I'll entertain a motion to approve with the stipulation for, we have to, a building permit.
That's correct.
We won't have to do electrical because there won't be any electrical to the sign.
The old sign had electricity wired to it, so I'm sure that, I'm not a licensed electrician, so I can't do it. So he's gonna have to get his own electrician to do it. You know, so I'm sure they'll pull their own permits for that.
Okay,
You know
so
what
then,
you know what I mean?
okay, so you're probably good looking at a building permit, electrical permit, and then Stephen will look and see exactly how far off the road, because of the conditions of the slope there.
Yep.
If the sign is going to work at that intersection, if he could spot it there for safety's sake.
He might not even light it either, so it's, you know.
Okay. Well, if you have it in the permit,
Yep.
then it gives him the opportunity
To light it.
or if he decides not to light it.
Yep.
So that's my motion. I mean, that's what.
I'll make that motion.
Well, if you can make that, thank you.
And that includes public safety approving it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Do I need to be on site with you guys for the public safety viewing?
I'd like someone on site that can talk to me about where you'd like to place this, and frankly, we can get the site
Okay.
plans as well.
Um,
I'll be glad to work with you on your availability and
I'll make my time available whenever you guys are, you know, as long as we can get some communication going back and forth and I know when you're going out there. You know, I don't have a problem at all.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to correct the next meeting date. I misspoke and I said it was June 5th. Looking ahead, it's actually June 12th.
Okay.
Will I be able to start on the signs for him and just a matter of placement, correct?
It's up
Yeah.
to the board, frankly. It sounds
So I
like
can
they're-
start building
Yeah,
it for
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that, and if you could get together with Stephen and figure out exactly where you can spot that.
Okay.
Make sure that it doesn't obstruct cars coming out of that
Yeah.
intersection.
Do I have to come to another meeting, or will we be able
No,
to
I-
communicate
no,
inside? Okay.
No, I think,
If there are no issues, then I
Yeah.
can report during the director's notes on the 12th that there are no issues. If there are issues, I'll bring it back to the board's attention and we can discuss the public safety matters.
okay. That's what we'll do then.
Okay.
First, you'll have to go out and take a look at it, see what we can do.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right.
All set?
We have to vote on
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it. I made a motion.
Oh, made motion, have second. Okay, we have a motion, and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so you're, it's official, and, yeah, just, get together with Steven so that you can walk a field and actually take a look and see where you're gonna put
I
this.
think you guys actually have my number on the permit and stuff, and you can call me whenever you're.
Are you
whenever you
Mr.
want.
Gannon? You're David?
No, I'm not David. I'm Todd DeMule. I do the signs. David.
Yes,
David's the doctor.
Leon? Yeah, I'll sign it. I'll call you tomorrow about the signatures. Yes, sir.
Okay, next is, we had the application for Evil Land Holdings, but we have put that off. We're not gonna do anything with that tonight.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, we had a conversation with the applicant, and the applicant has asked the board to allow for withdrawal without finding or prejudice. That's largely a result of a reconstitution of our board. We have begun the public hearing process and are unable at this time to conclude it.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept the applicant's withdrawal without prejudice on Edaville Land Holdings for site plan approval without prejudice.
Second that.
Is this something I vote on since I wasn't included in the prior public hearing? So I'm not familiar with the project? Do I still vote on the withdrawal?
It seems to me it'd be appropriate to do it because you're really just voting to allow the applicant to withdraw without a finding being made.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a public hearing on the application of Jacob Braley requesting a special permit. And I'll read the public hearing notice. In accordance with the provisions of the Town of Carver zoning bylaw, the Carver Planning Board will hold a public hearing on May 22nd, 2018 at 7 o'clock in the Carver Town Hall, Meeting Room 1, on the application of Jacob Braley requesting a special permit pursuant to sections 2300, 2900, and 5300 of the Carver zoning bylaw, located at 78 Rochester Road in Carver, Mass. Assessors map 92, lot 6-5, to allow a bed and breakfast in the residential agricultural area. Any persons interested and wishing to be heard should appear at the time and place designated. Copy of the plan is on file at the planning department and may be reviewed during normal business hours. Carver Planning Board, Bruce Mackey Chair. Carver Reporter, published dates for May 11th and May 18th, 2018. Is there anyone here? If you could please step up to the table and the mic and give us your name and address, please.
Good evening, it's Jacob Braley, 78 Rochester Road, Carver.
Good evening. What do you want to? So, Stephen, what do we have? What would you like to say about this?
What would I like to say? Well, it seems that the applicant has done homework. He certainly has responded to each of the elements of our zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw that's governing this section is responded to by the applicant, and that's the building to be used for the bed and breakfast must be a single-family residence. The applicant affirms that that is so. There shall be no significant alteration to the building's exterior. The applicant affirms that that is so. Off-street parking will be screened from adjacent properties. No additional parking will be allowed within front yard setbacks. The applicant affirms that that is met. Having visited the site, I can also affirm that that is so. It says here that the only meals that may be provided to guests shall be breakfast and dinner, and it would only be served to guests taking lodging at the facility. The applicant states that only continental breakfast will be provided to guests. With regard to information and literature describing the activities and cultural and historical events and landmarks in the town of Carver, that information should be prominently displayed to the benefit of guests. The applicant affirms that they are creating a binder containing brochures of local activities, information for popular restaurants, the local supermarket, main attractions such as Edaville, King Richard's Fair, and Cranberry Harvest Season. Lastly, trash and waste containers are to be enclosed and secured from entry and screened, and the applicant affirms that that has also been achieved. The planning staff has spoken to the technical review committee, as is customary in these types of things, and we have here a written statement from the health agent, Mr. Kevin Ford, who affirms that he has reviewed the files for this property and that the estimated flow from the house per Title V is estimated to be 440 gallons per day, and the design plan indicates that a design flow equal to 600 gallons per day capacity. Therefore, based on this system, the health agent found that the system is adequate for the proposed use. We have also a memo from the fire department representing the public safety functions in town. There is no explicit objection to the property or the use. It does nonetheless specify that the structure is required to adhere to any and all applicable building and fire codes required of this type of occupancy, including but not limited to a hardwired and interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide alarm system, exit signage, fire extinguishers, driveways over 75 feet in length shall meet the NFPA standards. And do you know how long your driveway is?
It's about 100 feet.
Carver Building Department should of course be made aware because it's required that this use is inspected annually. And I did have an opportunity to speak with some of the folks who I rely on for institutional knowledge in town, and it seems that in the past the community has approved 2 of these. Both of them have fallen out of use as they did not continue with the annual inspections.
Thank you. So as I see here, so the fire department will make sure of the signage and the fire extinguishers, and they'll take care of that. Make sure.
I'll be glad to work with the applicant
Okay.
if the board feels that this is a favorable use so that we can ascertain the number of fire extinguishers and the volume.
Any questions by the board members? Will?
Mr. Chair, if I could, just for clarification for the people in the audience, there was 2 previous bed and breakfasts that were permitted through the town. One is still under the same ownership, the other one had been sold to a single-family residence now. But there has been that process that has transpired through this board. We've always gone out at the 2 previous site visits, so I'm highly encouraging, especially with new members, to go out and do a site visit. That'll give us a good clarification of distance from the neighbors, stuff like that, that we've always been concerned about. And this is mostly for Jen. Just to bring you up to speed, we look at that, we look at, the trash removal, where that's gonna be located. This is also helpful to you, so.
Very much so.
Those are the type of things that we've always done, and I'll encourage that site visit take place. The only question that I had, and it's really in reference to the fire department's concern, is your driveway length, the width. I don't know what the width is and stuff, but I'm sure that you're gonna accommodate what their needs are, because it's their requirements.
Correct.
I understand that you've had your house on either VBRO or HomeAway or one of those type of internet sites in the past.
Correct.
Yeah. And how is that got you to this point? You must have seen some pretty good activity.
Yes. We've had a wide variety of people from all over the world
That's wonderful.
going to Edaville. A lot of people going to Edaville. A lot of people from Europe, Vietnam, Korea. So it's not what you would typically expect for somebody to come to Carver, and I think that's cool that we can offer them that opportunity to see a local environment versus, a Boston or a Cape Cod. They can come during cranberry season. Our property abuts a cranberry bog, so we have great views during the harvest season of the flooding and the whole process that takes place. And so I think it'll be a good attraction for the town.
I am, and for my own personal, I know that there is a wide need for lodging. You know that in the Plymouth area, they're building some more hotels and motels and stuff like that. I'm encouraged by you want to open your house open to the world and bring them to our town so they can enjoy the fruits of what our town has. So I like that. I'm good.
I actually have driven by the property. I haven't gone up the driveway. Clearly I can't, but
It's-
I've driven by and I do know that you can't see it from the road. And I think it's a positive thing because it does bring people into town, but on a small scale that fits in with the rural character of town. And it does promote businesses, not just Edaville, but if you prepare a great binder, I mean, it could tell people about our town, and I know that is a concern and something that would benefit the whole community.
Yeah, we've got I don't know if you guys are familiar with Berry Guys, but they're right down the street from us, so a lot of them go for breakfast there and get the breakfast sandwiches and the awesome subs for lunch, so I think it's been beneficial.
What do people come to see when they stay at your place?
It's kind of a good halfway point between Boston and Cape Cod, so it offers them the opportunity to see a little bit of both and at a reduced rate. It's about $75 a night is what we were charging, so it's not cheap, but it's not hotel prices either, and you get a homey feel.
And let me add in, according to Airbnb, they do have fabulous reviews.
Or superhost status.
I tried to look into things.
Thanks to my
I
mom.
couldn't go up the driveway. I wanted to see what I could find out.
So I just have
Any other questions?
a quick question. So right now it's considered an inn? And this is just for a bed and breakfast, that's,
Are you referring to the last item in the fire department report? Yeah, frankly, I can't attest to how or why it's listed that way on the internet. It is listed in the assessor's records as a single-family home. We don't have a business license on file for it, I understand. So that it's listed as an inn, I can't rightly speak to. Are you listing this property as an inn?
It's more a title thing. Under the rental laws and bylaws, you're allowed to rent up to one room. So we're looking to expand now and do 2 rooms and provide a breakfast. So we're trying to
Oh, I see, okay.
go more legitimate.
Mr. Chairman and board members, the zoning bylaws do specify that property or room can be rented to non-related members, but it does specify that one person as a boarder would be allowed as a right. Anything beyond that would require a ZBA permit. And it seems to me that the applicant, were you doing Airbnb beforehand?
Correct.
Right, so frankly, it wouldn't necessarily rise to the threshold of a boarder. So again, just to reiterate, that it's an inn seems to be like a business decision, but it doesn't necessarily violate any zoning bylaws.
yeah, I was just wondering why it had to get before us now if it had always already been being run as a people renting. So it was my own knowledge.
The Airbnb is a local option that we should be able to take up in 2020. I understand the legislature has just recently passed that. So local jurisdictions will be able to assess a Airbnb hotel tax, basically, as we do with other communities and hotels. But at least up until that time, Airbnb has been outside of our purview and jurisdiction.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions by the board? It is a public hearing. Is there anybody out in the audience that has any questions or concerns? Would like to have anything to say? If you could come up, you have to come up, and if you could just sit in that other chair, just give us your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Margie Baravella, and I live at 80 Rochester Road. And my only concern is, right now, part of an area in the front of their house that they mow is actually our property. So I just want to make sure that nothing's going to be like, they're not going to put anything on that part of and that part of the lawn. that's right in front of their house.
No,
Because our property goes straight, it starts at the side of their driveway and it goes straight back. So I just want to make sure that nothing's going to go in the front of the building,
Okay.
the front of their house.
As stated in the application, we're not making any property changes.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that nothing will be on my property.
It shouldn't be.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
shouldn't be.
keep mowing it as long as you don't mind.
No, we don't mind. We don't mind it being mowed. It's just, because if they, they don't have that much space in the front. We had an agreement with the previous owners that she mowed the lawn because she liked to be able to have a little bit of extra grass to see in front of the house.
All right, we'll take, if we do decide to go on a site visit, we'll take a look at that. But
Okay.
I would imagine that the applicant has to, whatever he does, has to keep everything on his own property, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure nothing's going to come in and nothing's going to go onto our property.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Matt Nye, 76 Rochester Road. I also am a direct abutter of this property. My only question is, what is the permit actually doing? Is it rezoning their property to a commercial, or is it just giving them a permit? And then also, you're talking about parking. I recently had my property surveyed and found out that I owned a piece of their driveway. So if I decide to put a fence up, is that going to require me to get a special permit where they use that for parking?
I can speak to that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So I have a couple pictures I can present to you guys if you'd like
Sure.
about how our parking is laid out. And
But if we do go for a site visit, we'll see that, but go ahead, bring up the pictures, that'd be great.
so right here on our site plan, our driveway comes up. Our parking area is right here. It does a circle close to our house and then swings back around. The piece Matt is talking about is right here. There's a small little chunk that's not anywhere that's parked on. If you take a look right here, our house is right there, and then we have parking all laid out right there. And that's pre-existing. That's what I park my car in, before my parents park their cars in. Another view, same parking area is right there, and then this is the start of the circle over there. And then, as you were talking about, that's the entrance to the driveway that's not visible from, nothing's visible from the road.
So if we do decide to come out, can you state this for us?
It's already staked.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt had it staked.
All right. So actually, the way this driveway is shown isn't correct, it must be pushed over to the property line.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
it with a pen, so it wasn't exactly the scale.
Okay. Okay. Very good, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, anybody has a right to put a fence on the property line, or usually keep it like a foot into their property or something like that, but, well, we can, I mean, as long as it's an agreeable thing with your neighbor, we'll take a look at
Do you
that.
want those? Those are you.
Sure, okay, oh yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions?
You only answered one. So you didn't.
What was the other one?
Zoning? Is it changing the zoning of the property, or is
No,
it
it
just?
doesn't, it doesn't change the zoning.
No.
It's just a permit
Okay.
for the use.
Okay. And there's no limit to how many people can go to this or anything like that?
Well, it's only 2 bedrooms, so, I mean, I've been to bed and breakfast before. If they have 2 bedrooms, usually it would be 2 couples, or, so it'd be 2 cars. If it
Yeah.
was 3, it'd be 3 cars.
I just saw the section on the notice that you guys sent out, but I wasn't able to look at that section. It's like 2900 or whatever it was on there.
Oh, the zoning.
The letter that you read, yeah, like their application or whatever, had a section on there. He just said it, but I wasn't able to research those, so I just didn't understand what the permit was actually doing. That's all.
Oh, okay, we can give you a copy of that.
Oh, thank you. So that was all. Thank
Okay,
you.
great, okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right. Seeing no one else, I entertain a motion to, do we have to close this public hearing?
I don't think we're ready to do that.
Oh, okay, that's right, because we're gonna go for a site visit yet,
Yeah.
that's right. So, any other questions by the board? And anything else that you would like to say?
Assuming approval, I have two questions. So as part of a bed and breakfast, we need to have a license or a certification for ServSafe. Postpone scheduling that until approval. So if we approve, I'll need to schedule that at some point. So I just want to coordinate with you guys on that.
That'll actually be the Board of Health that we can
Okay.
work with. So you can feel free to call our main office. We oversee these several departments that oversee permitting, so. Actually, I think I've seen you when talking to Jill and Deb already. That's who you need to talk to.
Frequent flyer there.
And just so you know, if this board does decide to grant approval for your B&B, there's a 21-day appeal process. That's out for the public. So after that 21 days, if there's no appeals, I mean, obviously, you can take at your own risk during that time, but the 21 days gives the public a chance to appeal if they decide that they want to. But and just so that way everybody else in the public knows that it's my opinion, and I don't know if the board has done this yet, you'll still have, until the hearing's closed, we'll still take more information. So you can still ask questions, you can still be involved. So just so people know.
Will there be a second meeting? Okay.
Well, if the board decides that. My opinion is that I'm gonna make a motion to continue this public hearing to our next meeting, when that time comes. And also, I'm gonna ask the board to schedule a site visit that's convenient for you to come out and take a look at some of the concerns from the abutters and take a look at the property. And that's normally what we've done in the past, so.
Great.
Okay.
All right, when do you want schedule this? When does everybody, when can we meet for a site visit?
So, Mr. Chairman, just to reiterate, the next meeting, regular meeting for this board is January 12th. That's next, or excuse me, 2 Tuesdays from now. And
Did you say January?
June.
Oh, that was gonna be a long.
Tuesdays are long days, apologies. 6/12, correct, at 7 p.m. Next Monday, the 28th of May, is Memorial Day. But for that, I don't see any other impediments or scheduling conflicts on the staff side, so defer to the board's availability for a site visit.
At this stage, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing for 78 Rochester Roads, B&B, to 6/12 at 7 p.m.
Second?
So you have motion and a second to continue the hearing. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so now let's schedule the site visit.
Okay, so Monday. The only thing that I have is Wednesdays. I have commitments, and as far as a site visit, I could be, my schedule's changed at my job, so I could be back here around 5:30 at night, and it's later on. I don't know what's convenient for the
Whatever works for you
applicant.
guys, I can make happen.
Okay.
I'm flexible in my work.
Time-wise, that's fine. I would ask not Thursdays. We have a family commitment on Thursdays, but time is fine.
6 o'clock would be good for me, if you could do
Okay.
it to 6.
Yeah.
Any day is fine of the week.
So it sounds like a Tuesday sound good with everybody?
This coming Tuesday?
No,
Okay.
let's see, next, the 29th,
Mr. Sinclair, you have a
29th, I have a
conflict?
conflict. Yeah, I do. Me and Jen, no good on that. So we're into June.
Are you traveling,
No, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. June 4th, a Monday.
Can we do on a Monday? Are you good? How
June
about
4th?
the 4th of June, is that all right, about
Yeah.
6 o'clock?
That works.
I'll make a motion to schedule a site visit for 98 Rochester Road at 6 o'clock. Thank you, I'm all right. 78 Rochester Road at 6 o'clock on June 4th.
Second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
thank you so much.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah, it's 6 on June 4th.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
All right, under other business, planning board member notes.
Mr. Chair, I guess I'll get started. First of all, I'd like to thank Kevin for all his hard work for the past 5 years. He was instrumental in a lot of good work that this board has done. So I wanted to thank him personally. I also wanted to thank and welcome Jen to the board. We look forward to having your input and a new face, and I think you'll do a wonderful job. You did a great job during the master plan committee. Jen sat on that one with us. She did a wonderful job. She's very thorough, as you've already seen. She's got her feet already in it, and she's just starting. So I think that's great, and I welcome you. Other than that, I'm good.
Anything, Jim?
A couple things, like Kevin, I want to, Will, I want to thank Kevin for his time on the board, as well as Chad. Chad recently
thank
resigned.
you. Yes.
Welcome, Jen. Welcome. Like I said, we'll have a lot of fun on this board. Also, I just want to thank everybody in town for the Kane Strong golf outing that we had 2 weekends ago. It was a little rainy, but we had a great turnout and actually raised the most money we have to date. So I want to thank everybody for their golfing, whole sponsorship, raffle prizes, and everyone that showed up that night. So thank you very much. I know the Canes appreciate it. And because of that, we're going to keep the Zach Kane scholarship going for at least another 4 years. So thank you very much.
Great job, Jim. Great job.
All right, also I'd like to welcome Jen to the board. I've worked with her before on the master plan, so, and she is very thorough, so she be a good person on the board with us. I'd also, like to thank Kevin for his time that he spent with us. And I also like to thank Chad for being on the board, and I'm going to miss Chad because he was an excellent member on the board, and he resigned just recently. And I hope he does well. I hope everything works out well for Chad and his family.
And I guess I'll say thank you for welcoming me so openly. I'm really excited to be here. I bring a lot of passion. I know there's a lot to learn, but I trust that you and Stephen will guide me. And as you've said, I'm quite thorough, sometimes to a fault. So thank you for having me.
All right, we move on to planning director notes.
Well, I would like to pile on and thank Jen so much and welcome you. Thank you so much for your commitment to this community. I've had a pleasure getting to know you a little bit. We've had a chance to meet and chat. I'm very excited for your passion and your ideas. And frankly, you provide a really great personal narrative that is the future of this community. And so I'm very excited to work with you. To the other members, it's great to see you guys again. Just another Tuesday though, right? Aside from that, I just wanted to update the board that on several occasions we brought to the board the attention of what was occurring at Linvia's path, largely as a consequence of some disturbance along a no-cut buffer. We had to mitigate some conflict between some neighbors. I'm glad to report that has been resolved with the board's leadership. The neighbors have so far been fairly pleased with the outcome, and the developer has been able to start work again on that project. But for that, everything else is business as usual.
We still haven't planned. We don't have a date for the joint board meeting with the selectmen.
That's correct. Yeah, thank you for asking, Mr. Chairman. In order to replace or to fill the vacancy on the board, we do have to have a joint meeting of the select board and the planning board. A majority vote of both of those will determine who will fill the remainder of Chad's term for this year, and then that individual will have to run again when that term is up. In 2020, as I recall. That date has yet to be set. I know we were looking at end of June or near the end of June so that we can provide enough time for interested candidates or applicants to submit their credentials to the Board of Selectmen.
And this would be for the full-time position that Chad Kavicki had, and also for the alternate member of the board.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Has that been posted anywhere that there's an open position and an
It-
alternate?
Yes, Mr. Hoffman, it's on the town's main page, and you can obtain, if anybody's interested, you can obtain a application form on the Board of Selectmen's site particularly.
So anybody out there wants to join this fund, go right
Point
ahead.
of information, if I may. It's on the website.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Really?
Absolutely. Get used to it. You're already involved with the bunch, we get you going.
Alan Germain, 24 Pine Street. It's on the website, it was on the website, it's gone. It was on the website, interested parties had until the end of this month, and the Board of Selectmen were gonna meet on June 5th. And that's since been changed. At the last Selectmen's meeting, I brought it up, when they said their next meeting was the help me out, Steve. The last Tuesday of June.
Moment. The last Tuesday in June is the 26th.
26th, and I made a point of information then that they had advertised June 5th, and they kind of looked at each other and shook their heads and said, we're not having that meeting. So, as of right this minute, as of this afternoon, there's nothing on the Carver website indicating a vacancy on the planning board, and the end of the month application process and the June 5th joint hearing isn't posted either.
Good to know.
That's it.
Thank you for the information.
No charge.
All right, next we have the minutes, we have minutes of March 27th, April 2nd, and April 9th of 2018. So we'll do one at a time. So what we have before us, and some of these I'm not quite sure how we're gonna do, because this one here on March 27th, I was here, Will was here, and Jim was here. So I guess we can, we can vote on this one.
No, Jim wasn't here for, what are we on?
This is March 27th, 2018.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for straightening me out. You sent these to us. Make a motion to approve the March 27th, 2018 as written.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Now, yeah,
She
Jen,
abstains.
yeah, we'll abstain, okay. So, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and we have one abstention. The next one is for
April 2nd.
April 2nd. April 2nd. So I was here, Jim was here, Kevin was here, and he's not here, and Will was here, so the three of us. So we're good with that.
This is only bylaws. Make a motion to approve as written for the minutes of April 2nd, 2018. Good job, they were pretty long.
I'll second that.
It's a long meeting. We have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And one abstention. 3-4, one abstention. All right, then we'll go on to the April 9th meeting, and I was there, Will was there, and Kevin was there. How do we handle that?
You, as the chairman, can set aside Robert's rules, because there's nothing that can change that attendance. So you can set aside Robert's rules, and the two of you can vote with 2 abstentions, and the motion will still carry. It's only the minutes.
That is a true statement.
That's trouble.
Absolutely right, Alan.
That is a true statement.
But you have to, as the chairman, declare that's what you're doing. Because no matter who comes to the next meeting, they still cannot vote on those minutes. So this can never change. So without some modification, the minutes could
Okay.
never be adopted.
All right, since Will and I were there, and Kevin is no longer here, then Will and I will vote on it. Because we have no other alternative.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to make a motion to approve these minutes as written, April 9th as 2018.
Can I second that? I guess I
Yes.
can. All right, so I second it. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And so that's 2-4 and 2 abstentions. Our next meeting date, and we've gone over this, would be June 12th.
Let me just put that in.
And entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And thank you, everyone.